I just made a mistake this morning. I just made a mistake. Grabbed two wrong slippers.
Hey Pooka, on Miles to Go, the episode, it showed Coach Dearmon kind of give you a hug and say, "Hey, we're going to get you out to the edge." I just wondered what you thought when he kind of embraced you and made sure to tell you something. What were you thinking about that?
I mean, we had plays in space, but I mean that triggered me a lot more. Like knowing he trying to get me in space and not really running through the middle all day. But it's similar. It's similar to our last offense.
Does he share anything else with you just about how important you are to the offense moving
Yeah, of
forward?
course. He's telling me how many big plays I have with the offense, just off the strength of our receivers threat, our quarterback threat, and how the role I'm playing. I'm ready for the challenge.
I heard when he mentions it, he mentioned some of the old Auburn running backs. Some of those guys are in the NFL. I mean, have you heard those comparisons too? And what do you think when he says like Trey Mason, Kerryon Johnson, those sorts of guys?
Yeah, it make me feel like just another back that's trying to make it. Like Trey Mason, he was the man at Auburn.
Yeah.
And I mean, he put him in the best positions. So I feel like he gonna put me in the best positions also.
What feels different about this offense over the past week since the change was made?
I mean, nothing really feels different. It's just we just gotta get the communication going and flowing.
How's tempo going to be a factor moving forward?
It's gonna be a great point. I like a great part, but at the same time, we probably just relax and just move the ball.
I gotta ask you. Last week was Basketball Media Day, and Devon Dotson was talking about a race with you, maybe, and how he'd probably beat you in a sprint. I got to get the other side of this. I guess what's your relationship with Devon, and who would win that sprint?
I mean, we tight. We tight. I mean, I ran track all my life. That's all I gotta say. So I'm not just a football player. I'm a track star too.
And he's not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I thought.
So basically, as long as you don't have to dribble,
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
If I'm running straight, I'm good.
You think he's basketball fast then?
Yeah, of course he is. I mean, basketball, football, it's two different fasts because one in basketball you dribbling the ball and in football you just holding it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess two different type of fasts.
I wanted to ask, against Oklahoma, part of the game plan we heard was kind of slow it down, limit possessions, limit amount of time. Is this still going to be a team that kind of alternates fast tempo, slow tempo depending on opponent, or do you see it going in one general direction?
I mean, one general direction. I mean, we just move accordingly. Like we ain't switching up. We really the same.
Mm-hmm. So it could fluctuate week to week, game to game, or
Yeah, like week to week.
Mm-hmm.
AP was mentioning one of the kind of challenges has been just kind of getting all the verbiage. And he said there wasn't a lot of changes, but can you kind of explain like what you guys have done to kind of pick up new terms or whatever?
I mean, it was really like AP says the same, but it was just it was mostly getting new calls. Like since we know him from the old call, like transitioning from the old calls to the new calls, that's basically it for real.
So I mean, is it just like mental reps and practice?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What's your favorite thing about Coach Dearmon?
I mean, he know what he's doing. He's a great coach.
What have you seen out of Texas?
Excuse me?
Texas defense.
Texas, I mean, they're a great defense. They're very talented, and they play very well as a team.
What's their biggest strength on defense?
Biggest strength, I feel like they nose guard. Since that's who I really watch. I feel like they nose guard.
When Coach Dearmon was talking to us, he said he just needs to get you in the end zone and he'll be happy. Have you thought about touchdowns, and is that going to be your biggest focus going forward?
I mean, yeah, but not really. I mean, touchdowns make victories. Like if we ain't scoring more points than our opponent, it's like we lost. So I'd be happy to get in the end zone, of course.
Did you have any goals coming into this season for touchdown production or anything? Did you have a number you were hoping to hit, anything like that?
Nah, not really. I was just moving accordingly.
Have you been surprised that you haven't maybe hit as many maybe long plays and touchdowns as you were last year?
Not really. I ain't gonna say I am not really surprised. I know people in game plan for me more. and load the box on me and not play true to the game. So, I already had it in my mind coming back into the season, like, I'm going to have to do extra.
Nobody knows how it's going to play out, but do you think you could be utilized more as a receiver moving forward, maybe like you were last year?
I mean, whatever the team need me to do, they could put me wherever.
Do you feel like there's anything, maybe a different energy around this offense under Coach Dearmon than what you saw under Coach Canning?
It's really the same because it's the same people, Ain't nothing really changed. We just changed plays, like the style of how we run them.
What have you seen out of Carter since the change was made? How's this kind of been helpful for him, you think?
Carter's Carter. He gonna make a play when the play needs to be made. Like, he's a great quarterback, and the mistakes he make is all for him trying to make a play. And you can't fault him for that. Like, if you're trying to make a play and you make a mistake, it's like, I can't fault you. You're trying to, give it your all. So,
What was your first thought when you heard Coach Dearmon was hired? Very first thought.
I'm just like, I'm going to just see how everything plays out. And when we came in and talked to him, and I'm like, oh, yeah, because at first I didn't know he coached, like, all them different spots. I just, Coach Dearmon. I knew him, but I didn't really know his background. And done a little research. He knew what he's doing with running backs and the offense standpoint, period.